We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you're.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 3 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
So, if you want to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome. Guys, I need to apologize because I messed up the intro a little bit right there. Yeah, I missed my mark. My headphones, they weren't playing, so I couldn't listen myself. I was like, oh no, this is not working. I panicked.
You panicked. Anyways, for those who don't know, we're doing intros live just so we can get comfortable with the timing and the things and the podcast and blah, blah, blah.
Everything, right?
It's the first time that we're publishing these episodes. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much. We're also recording this thing live.
Yeah, thank you so much for everybody that's watching this live right now. If you have any questions, just go to our Facebook page. I mean, you're watching it live, so
you're watching it
just
live.
Drop the comments right there, and at the end of the episode, we're gonna get back to you, and we're gonna answer any question that you may have.
Sweet, awesome. So, what's the secret? What are we talking about today, Fonzi? What are we talking about today?
Well, not long ago, we experienced something that it was great. Honestly, it was like watching the World Cup final live. Probably not the same, but it was amazing, right? Because we went to this live event where we saw one of our favorite marketers and mentors sell $1.6 million from stage. And he attributed his success to one thing. And one thing, well, yes, mainly one thing. And that's what we're going to talk about on this episode.
Yeah, so,
I don't want to spill the beans too early and let you on the secret.
Yeah, so funny enough, like, through the programs that we've been in, from the people that we've learning from, the experiences that we've been having with our own clients, right? Because, guys, you got to invest in yourself. You got to keep learning, right? When you think you know everything, you still don't. So just keep learning. So that's what we do, right? We keep improving. We keep seeing different frameworks. We keep listening to different people and testing things out. Testing is very important in the content and the publishing world. So in this journey, we ended up in a city called Boise, Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho.
If you guys are familiar with it, awesome.
Honestly,
if you're not,
I'm very surprised with that city, because if you didn't know, I didn't know this, but ClickBank, which is a huge affiliate marketplace, they are from Boise, Idaho. ClickFunnels, I mean, if you're into digital marketing, you probably know who ClickFunnels is. They're from Boise, Idaho. ConvertKit, which is a huge email marketing company, is from Boise, Idaho. I'm like, dude, we need to go and we need to just move from Boise to Boise.
We're from Florida. We live in Jacksonville, the opposite side of the country. And it's funny because my wife is like, she's Canadian, right? And she moved because of the heat. So if I ever consider moving to Boise, she'll kill me. Yeah,
but
I'll be dead, man.
So before we actually start with this, I want to tell a little story. That's okay. For everybody there seeing, right? So how was the $1.6 million in a day possible? And we know it is not only possible with this person, but like, he's not the first one that has done it. A lot of people has done this, maybe not only from stage, but in a digital platform as well. They've had $1 million days. And when we look at it, it goes down to one thing, right? And that one thing is attention, right? Attention is money. When we went to 10X, January 2019, great conference, great atmosphere. If you've never been, we totally recommend it. Grant Cardone, that was an amazing event. Thank you so much. And one of the phrases that he said there that it resonated so much with us is attention is money. So
it was funny. Like, we were sitting, so we paid like the ticket, like the $50 ticket that sits you like next to the stadium lights. And he did like the whole Marlins Stadium. He sold 30,000 tickets. The ones like in the front row with like 10 grand. And obviously, at that point, we're like, heck no, how can people afford that thing? Or why would people buy those tickets, right? Because the content's the same. But as we learned, there's different approaches, and
different packages, brackets, benefits,
and access to people. But anyways, we're like next to the stadium lights, and as soon as he started talking, he's like, the first thing that he talks about is how much he's been investing in his content, in his publishing, not just ads, everything. We call it maybe content machine, right? And he showed a graph as like the Google searches, and it was funny because it was Google searches across like all the years that he's been in business, and this thing was just moving up like a hockey stick. And then on top of that, he put the revenue graph on top of the Google search, and it was the same. It was like a hockey stick.
Yeah, pretty much. The more attention he was getting, the revenue was growing at the same rate that the attention was growing. So that was very impressive. But where I wanted to go with this is, let's back up a few years, right? And let's go back to when the television like came out. And I don't remember the exact date, but this is going to be a huge gap, but let's say between the 1940s and 1960s, the first ads started running, right? And that's pretty much, besides newspapers, that's pretty much the only way, and radio, the only way you could get people's attention, right? And I mean, the regular folks, they couldn't actually buy TV ads because they were very expensive, or they couldn't buy radio ads because they were very, very expensive. So the internet has changed a lot of the game, because at this point only big companies can advertise, right? And I mean, we're used to it before what the internet 2.0, what it is right now, web 2.0, social media, all that. Every time you're watching TVs, you had to deal with the advertisement that came on your TV. And they were usually by big corporations because we couldn't afford those. But now with social media, the game has totally changed because everybody can sit down and start publishing their own content like we're doing right now, right? We're recording this for other platforms later, and we're recording this on Facebook Live right now to show you that it's actually possible to create your content whenever you want, wherever you are, whenever you are.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. Obviously, if you grab these concepts, the marketing and all those frameworks that people were implementing, 30, 40 years ago in these big platforms, now everybody has the option to be their own, to showcase their own voice, provide their own value, right? Each one of you guys have that one person or has that dream client that you can help with whatever you sell.
Yeah.
Right. So on our end with direct response content, right? The objective is how can you bring that dream customer without any friction to your purchasing stage? Like,
yeah, that's the purpose of content is profit, right? How can we leverage that attention that we're going to create with your content? How can we leverage that and remove our objections, every friction that your clients might have, that your future customers are going to have? And then how to make them come into your store and tell you, hey, I want to buy. I want to give you my money right now.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyway, so fast forward, from the television age to this age now. And it's funny because, think about when you're like obsessed with something, right? It could be a restaurant, it could be a TV show, it could be a product, whatever it is, right? What do we do immediately? I know that I go to my phone and I start like looking for different things and researching content, and I'm going to Wikipedia, I'm going to any sites, I'm going to Instagram and stuff like that, right? So a couple months ago, we got obsessed over this new guy that was coming up in the marketing space. And his story was pretty interesting, right? Because he was one of the lead funnel builders. And if you guys don't know what a sales funnel is, let me know in the comments, or you can go watch the episode before. We explain a little bit what it is there. But he was the lead funnel builder for this big company, right? And he decided one day that he wanted to quit. So Steve was like, hey, I think I'm ready to do my own thing.
I think you need to drop the name. We need to give credit where credit is due. Who's this person you're talking about?
This person we're talking about is the great Steve Larson.
The great Steve Larson.
And we owe a lot of what we do and how we do it to him, and also to the company that he came out of.
Yeah,
ClickFunnels. So anyway, so he was like working directly with this great marketer called Russell Branson, and when it was time to finally go, right, he's like looking for advice, and Russell was like, if you do one thing from now, moving forward, let that one thing be published. You got to publish. And Steve was like, heck no, I'm okay. I know funnels. I know how to sell. I'm not going to publish. And Russell's like, publish. You got to. So anyway, and it's funny because like we're part of that kind of community. And we've heard this story plenty of times. But he was telling us in his program, we ended up going to Boise. And he ended up telling this story. And he was like, look, this happened a year and a half ago, and it was like few months that I did not publish anything. I was struggling, and it wasn't until I started publishing that I started to get traction.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, the word is attention. If you don't publish, if you don't make noise, and again, I don't want you to confuse making noise with like randomly publishing content. There has to be a structure that goes with it. But if there's no noise coming from you, how's other people gonna see your business, right? How they're gonna know about you if you're not putting yourself out there? So we totally understand the fear of publishing, because that was us for 3 years, literally for 3 years. We knew we needed to create content. We knew we needed to get ourselves out there, but the fear, the fear of getting in front of the camera, right? The fear of the world seeing who you really are and what you really believe and what problem you're gonna solve. That was a big fear for us, just getting in front of the camera and showing all that to everybody. So, I mean, I hope this is a little motivation too for you to step in front of the camera. It doesn't have to be a crazy setup. It can be just your phone and share your message with everybody.
Yeah, so I wanna share a little bit of a story. Like as you know, like I used to work in the fitness industry, selling memberships for different fitness studios. And when we started looking at social or content to do these kind of things, we had these coaches that would perform like crazy in front of 30 people for a full hour, 3 hours in a row, and then we'll put a camera in front of their faces, and they will like stutter. They will not know what to do, what to say, and we're
they
like,
couldn't say anything.
Just be yourself, right? And we totally understand that there's that fear. So what we started to do was just like sneak in and have a conversation, pre-plan what we were gonna say, so they were a little bit more comfortable.
Sometimes we would even turn on the camera while we were having these conversations, so they didn't know us recording, and they would act normal and just give us the whole information. And then at the end, we were like, yeah, we just recorded all that. And they're like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
They would get like all nervous, like, are you sure? Is that good? It's like, it's perfect. Just being yourself.
Yep, that's it. So at the time, we didn't call it direct response content because we weren't having the direct response element into this content. It was just content out there that we were putting. The main goal for that time was to keep our members internally engaged. And there's different ways to do that. But as we move and we progress in our journey, we started identifying these things that will talk the same as direct response. So we're like, okay, what are those elements that will make that content so valuable? And how can we direct them, these dream clients, into a sale eventually, right? How can you design your content, your publishing strategy, so you can acquire more customers? And that's when we landed on direct response, right? So,
and for you that, like for those that don't know what direct response stands for, it's pretty much a piece of content, a piece of marketing that needs that asks for an action after the whole piece of content has come across. Wow, that I struggle on that one. That was a real tough one. It's pretty clear in here. Not so clear when I said it. But it's pretty much you ask for an action after you tell them your piece of content. So for example, it could be a call to action. It could be, hey guys, just go to Facebook, like and share the post. That could be the whole action you want from that one. With when you own a business, when you're running your own business, usually the call to action is you tell them to go to a certain page so they can become a lead or they can become a customer, right? You always need to tell them, ask them to take action, because if you don't tell them, they're not gonna know what to do.
Yeah.
All right, that was a big parenthesis.
Big parenthesis. No, but that's right, guys. So always direct them somewhere. That's the first thing, right? If we are investing all this time in creating a piece of content, whatever it is, if it's a blog, if it's an email, if it's a video, right? And we're going to talk about different strategies moving on, but there's going to be a time investment if you're doing it yourself, or there's going to be a monetary investment if you're hiring somebody to do this. So if the content's just put out there, it's going to get lost, and you're not going to be able to accurately like track the people that see your content into your main objective, which what we talked about is about sales. If it's something different, great, but we really want to focus on like driving traffic to making a sale, because you're providing so much value.
Yeah,
to them.
the end goal is to grow the business, and the only way to grow the business is with customers. And to get customers, you need to sell. So a lot of people's not very comfortable with the idea of selling, but that's a whole different topic for another day.
Yeah. So here's my 2 cents, right? You as a business, you're providing a ton of value, right? So if you own a business or if you sell something, my understanding is that you are providing the best product for your dream customer. So if you provide the best product for your best customer, why not offering the product to your dream customer? So it's funny because we work with different studios or fitness locations, and we're like, hey, like how many times do we need to publish a day? How many emails do we need to send a day? And we're like, as many as you can. Obviously there's different frameworks that we can follow, but as far as like putting content out there, if it's valuable for your dream client, those people are going to be attracted to you, and eventually, right, if they consume enough of your content, then they will become that dream client.
Yeah, is that binging element that you mentioned before, that you were asking, what do you do when you get presented with an offer, right? Like, yes, I go to a Facebook page, Instagram page, and I start binging on their content. And the idea of that content is to create trust between the business and the customer. So when people, and we've got this question multiple times, and when they ask, how many times should I post a day, right? Honestly, that's one of my favorite questions, because it's like he just said, hey, if you believe in what you're selling is the right solution for the problem that you're tackling, then you should post as many times as you can, and you should offer them your solution as many times as you can, right? If they are not the right customer at the right time and they decide to tune out, that's totally okay. I think you need to be okay with the idea that some people are going to fall off the process. They're just going to say, no, I don't want to listen to what you have to say right now. But maybe in a few months, they're going to be ready for your solution.
Yeah. So in our industry, you know, we work directly with fitness studios. We work with dentists. We worked with dietitians too. A little bit of everything right now. But, you know, with the fitness industry in itself, it takes, 12 to 15 points of contact to make that sale. Imagine like all the competition that you guys have out there, right? There's different people that will require different services. There's a yoga studio, the Pilates, the Orange Theories, the CrossFits. There's different things that people are looking for different options, right? So what if, right, instead of them coming to your studio and then giving them a free class that will require time for your coaches, staff, sales processes, right? And then we have to follow up with them again. What about, right, we create this safety net of content that you can communicate back and forth to. And this is why social media is so powerful. This is why publishing is so powerful, because that amount of content that you put out there that is very valuable for the person that is looking for yoga, for example, right? They're going to start binge watching your content. They're going to get familiar with your coaches. They're going to get familiar with you. And eventually they're going to walk into your studio because you had a call to action in all of these posts. And the second they're ready to go and purchase or take that free class, they're going to come to you, and there's going to be less friction when you're trying to offer your services to that one person.
Yeah, totally. I agree 120% with you, brother.
Thank you. More than 100. I feel so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Big round of applause, guys. Let's go.
All right. And it's funny. I have a little example here. So, and I will touch on this a little bit. We'll deep dive. Yep. But we've been doing this Facebook Live experiment. because everybody's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can publish more than one a day. I don't know if I should. And it's funny because we've been studying all these great marketers that obviously have millions of followers, but they do have millions of followers because of this simple reason. They publish constantly and they've published massively with call to actions. They are very consistent and they do have a system in behind, and there are ways to do this system.
So real quick parenthesis, for the people that say that they don't have time to publish in a day, I have in here that according to Statista, in 2017, people spent 135 minutes per day looking at their social media. Guys, that's a lot of time. That's over 2 hours. So if you can spend over 2 hours just scrolling with your finger, I'm sure you can spare 5 to 10 minutes to create a piece of content. All right, close parenthesis.
Close parenthesis. So we decided to start this challenge. It was personal challenge, right? It was a case study, just Fonzi and myself in our personal pages, which consists of publishing one Facebook Live per day. And if you are part of our network, you will probably encounter some of those videos. And I have data here. I haven't tracked the whole thing, but I have data tracking, 26 days. So almost half, a little bit over half, right? In 26 days, the total production time was 2.4 hours. So 2 hours and 40 minutes.
2.4 hours. That's just what you would spend in one day scrolling in social media.
2 hours and 40 minutes just recording. So that's about, so put it in perspective, that's about 40 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Which translates to 5 minutes per day.
5 minutes per day, guys. 5 minutes per day against the 2 hours that you spend per day scrolling through social media.
And I know what you're thinking. It's like, okay, but how does that translate into money, right? Because with direct response content, we got to track it to money.
Yeah, we need to track it to the results.
Yeah, just keep in mind for this experiment, we did not have a functioning landing page.
We did that, but the functioning landing page was for people to ask us questions, right? Because we are looking to grow our audience. We want more people to get invested into contentisprofit.com. So our call to action was, hey, if you think this was helpful, just go to contentisprofit.com and drop us a question. So that's for you too right now.
Yeah, still active. So
you can go and ask us any questions you may like. But
so even though we were getting people to the page, right? Money-wise, these are some of the things that trickled from those 5 minutes a day. We were able to raise our consulting hours to $250 per hour. So we booked one consulting hour at $250. Then we had a pre-sale for our 6-week masterclass that we're launching on February 10th. So if you're listening to this podcast before that, just make sure stay tuned in our social medias. Go to contentisprofit.com, drop your email because you will get access to the pre-sale of that content.
You will be notified.
You will be notified. So that is about $1,000. This happened about day 2 of publishing. Then we had a 2-hour consulting session, $500. Then we had another 1-hour consulting session, $250. Then we had a gig. We actually spoke in front of college audience.
Oh yeah, that was very exciting. Actually, we went back to school we graduated from, and a communications teacher. She invited us to speak to her audience, to her students, and it was awesome because we tested a little bit of the frameworks that we use for selling. We didn't sell them anything, if that's what you're thinking. We didn't sell anything to the students, but it was great. We actually saw students taking notes, and we're like, what? Like, that's awesome.
That was pretty awesome. We actually got an interview with a YouTube channel that had over 40,000 views over in Europe. We had that escalated into a new partnership with an agency in South America that operates in Panama and Venezuela. And we actually got reached out and we closed a deal that is almost $10,000. So, monetary value, that was actually
a success.
So if you add all that up, is about $12,000 just for publishing Facebook Lives 26 times, which is 5 minutes a day.
Yep. So my question to you is, do you have 5 minutes that you can take away from your 2 hours a day scrolling time to create some content? Do you think you can do that?
I think you can.
I'm sure they can.
Yeah. So homework for today as we are wrapping up.
Wait. Before we do the homework, I mean, we told you, right? Like, we started. What was that one thing that got Steve? Because that's the guy that was on stage. I'm dropping names.
I almost forgot.
What was the one thing that got Steve to a $1.6 million day, right? And I mean, if you've been paying attention to what we've been saying this whole episode,
I think you got the answer by now.
I think you got the answer by now. Is his publishing, right? He was being consistent. Thanks to his publishing, he managed to get 600 people to Boise, Idaho. I was included.
Yep.
And sold about 10% of the room, if I'm not mistaken, or a little bit over 10% of the room into his next program, generating $1.6 million in a day, guys. So, and like him, like we said before, many others have done the same thing, not only selling from stage, but online. And that was the whole premise of the episode, right? Be consistent, get attention from people. And how can we do this? How? Publishing.
Consistently.
Consistent publishing, guys.
So as we move forward with that podcast, we're going to be discussing different frameworks, different strategies. We're going to be bringing people along that are having a lot of success with publishing, sharing their strategies, sharing their results. So you guys can get excited, motivated, and ready to go. Now, we want to leave you with a little bit of a homework.
Oh, yeah.
So for this, right, the only thing that you got to do is choose the platform that you like, either blog, Facebook, Instagram, and make a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or write a blog and ask the people, what do they want to hear about? If you're known as a fitness guy, if you're known as a dietitian, if you're known like the guru, I don't know if you're a guru, but the soccer guy, the football guy, the basketball guy, ask them what do they want to know.
Yep. Just remember, you've done something throughout your life that you're very good at and that you can share with people, that you can teach them about. So what is that one thing, right, that you're passionate about, that you like to do, that you know a lot about, that you're willing to share with others, and then just be vulnerable. Just grab the phone. It's totally okay to say, hey, this is my first Facebook Live. I'm nervous. This might go wrong because, I mean, how many times haven't we messed up today, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's totally okay to say that, hey, I'm nervous. This is my first time, but I would love to share more about this specific topic. So what do you want to know? And let them ask you questions, guys.
Yep. So with that, we got to go. If you guys are interested, you have more questions, want to follow up with us, go to contentisprofit.com. Go to BIZBROS Co. on Facebook, BIZBROS Co. on Instagram. But more importantly, contentisprofit.com. Drop us the questions. We'll be able to help you guys out.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you guys
later. We love you. Oh, this camera. We love you.